said, nothing. Okay, so welcome to my world. I wish I could treat every animal in the world for free. I really do. But unfortunately I can't. Anyway, he said, why are you so sad? And I said, because I can't get planning permission and I'm next to a kebab shop. And he said, well, if you fix my dog, I'll find you a new home. And I said, fair enough, thinking that it would be, you know, some shyster, and there's no way this was going to happen. Anyway, he brought me to see this beautiful, state-of-the-art veterinary practice, ladies and gentlemen, in the middle of the countryside. And I thought, yes, that's a beautiful, state-of-the-art veterinary practice right there. Oh, everybody can see it. I can see it in your eyes. You're thinking, oh, yes, it'll cost £5, and away we go. So I went to the bank and I said, will you give me a few quid? And they said, no. And I said, how much will you give me? And they gave me a little bit, and then I needed a little bit more. So gradually I changed bank after bank after bank after bank. And ladies and gentlemen, we did build it. We did build that practice because I believed that that was possible and that that was the right thing to do, and you can have a nice hospital with swimming pool for the dogs and everything else. But the main advantage is I don't need to keep all my nurses in one cage anymore. I can spread them out a little bit around the place, and they're quite happy with that. But then they wanted an even bigger hospital, ladies and gentlemen. They wanted our cancer centre. And everybody said this is impossible. You can never build the best cancer centre on earth for animals because it's going to cost you too many millions. And by the way, we won't give it to you. That's Mr. Bank. I hate the bank. And I am their worst customer. Because the more I am in debt, the more it becomes their problem. Because nobody's going to work harder than me. So I am the worst possible person to loan money to because you're in for life. That's it. That's the way it is. You're in for life. And I hope that I die without one penny in my personal name. And I hope that every penny that goes out there saves these animals from cancer, saves these animals from disease, saves these animals from all of the trials and tribulations of life, and bring you hope, ladies and gentlemen, because that's why I'm here. So, we do build it. Thank you. And every day, this is my office here, and that's not for stalkers, okay? I don't live here. Okay, no, that's a fabrication. So stalkers are not allowed in the field, okay, just so you know. Anyway, outside of my window, I've built a chestnut tree. Because Philip used to love chestnut trees. So every time I have a euthanasia or something that makes me sad, and I need hope, I look at that chestnut tree and it brings me hope. Because I read a book once about trees on the planet and what would happen if all the trees were gone. And I'm sure you've read this book. It's a wonderful book. I would insist that nobody ever gets through life without reading the Lorax. It's mandatory reading for every child and every adult in the world because it says, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Right? So unless somebody like you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you care a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. And you might feel powerless, ladies and gentlemen, but the reality is you're not powerless. 4 people sat in a room 8 years ago and talked about building a vet school at the University of Surrey. We opened that school last year, and this professorship is all nonsense. All those books in the world will not buy you this star. And what I'm looking for in these students is the brightest star. And that brightest star isn't the brightest kid. That brightest star is the biggest heart. And I want the biggest hearts in the world to take this message out across the world. And as a result, I met Her Majesty the Queen. And I told her this story about the stars. And I thought it would be great fun when I met her if I could go down on one knee and knight her. Because I thought that'd be hilarious, right? Now, it doesn't say anywhere in the protocol book that you shan't get down on one knee and try and knight the Queen. Lots of protocol, but nothing about that at all. I was tantalising. That was a limb amputation prosthesis in my left hand. I was about 2 inches from her shoulder when the security guy went like this. And the security guy over there went like that. And I'm like, okay, and put it back in my pocket. But it was a glorious moment. And a few months later, I got an invitation to Buckingham Palace. Now this is the truth, right? I got an invitation to Buckingham Palace, but I had this operation done at Christmas time, and it failed. It went horribly wrong, which is a lesson to all of us. We are at the mercy of biology and it can go horribly wrong. Anyway, I had the CT scan in April this year that said it's gone horribly wrong. You're going to have it done again, and if you don't have it done now, you'll be a cripple for the rest of your life. So I'm like, oh man. So we had to move. Thank you, nurses, for moving that 6 weeks of surgery forwards and backwards and staying till midnight. God bless you. So we had to move the whole operating list, right? But you'll notice in this picture I have a cast on, right? I completely forget that I'm due to see the Queen. Completely forget. I'm morphined out of my mind. I'm busy at work. And I'm going to hospital. And I'm still morphined out of my mind, right? And Kira, my assistant, rings me and she goes, and this is the 2 days after I had my surgery. You haven't forgotten, have you? And I'm like, ah! The Queen! Exactly. That was my response. I sat bolt upright in bed and thought, oh my God, next Wednesday I've got to see the Queen. So I got out of bed and I tried to change my pajamas because my pajamas were very smelly. I'd had them on for 2 days. And I realised I couldn't get the pajamas over the cast. So I suddenly screamed again, which I'm not going to do because I'll set that dog off. And I realised I wouldn't be able to get my suit on to go and see the Queen. So I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to go naked.